I was the junior most PhD student of the group when I embarked on a scientific quest. With the support of my seniors and my mentors, I solved a problem which had remained unsolved for many years. My lack of experience became my strength as I approached the problem in non obvious ways. To top it, a part of my PhD work remains a mystery to this day. Proteins are a kind of chemical which are important for all living things. Knowing the 3D structure of protein is necessary to develop medicines and vaccines. During PhD, I had looked at several protein data. On a Friday evening, my boss came to see me and gave a protein data. He said that the data had stalled midway in the structure determination process. It had resisted all attempts of solving it and had been lying in the lab for many years. He asked me if I can try solving it. I gave a cursory look at the data, thought it was easy, and declared that I would solve it by following Monday. I didn't know it would take me months. Working out the 3D structure of protein is a lengthy process with several hurdles. At one point, a structure of a related protein can be fit to the data to determine the 3D structure. In this case, the data had crossed all hurdles except the last one. The protein was thought to have come from virus. Yet, all my attempts to fit the viral protein to the data failed. We assumed that there could be an issue of mislabeling or mishandling. Hence, I tried fitting structure of all the proteins that were currently studied in the lab. None of them would fit either. By now, I was dejected. What I thought was a weekend project had already taken months. But I couldn't stop wondering what the protein could be. We were certain that the data belonged to a protein. We just didn't know what protein nor where it came from. Hence, I came up with this crazy idea. Why not try fitting all the known protein structures in the world? There were about 120,000 possibilities, of which I found the one which fit the data. We crossed the final hurdle and determined the 3D structure. The protein was from a bacterium called Stenotrophomonas maltophilia. I know it's a mouthful, it had taken me days to pronounce it. Of course, I was happy but also confused because nobody had heard of this microbe in the entire department, let alone our lab. So, how exactly did this protein come into our lab? We were even more puzzled when we found another identical data that had been lying in our shelf for 7 years. So, this protein from this microbe had entered our experiments not once but twice in 2 different experiments. Yet, we had no clue how exactly it happened. My boss was perplexed. He contacted all his previous students from the past 10 years to find if anyone had ever worked on this in our lab. But no, nobody had. We still do not know how or why this protein from this mysterious microbe appeared in our lab. We know that this microbe lives in soil and somehow might have entered our experiments, but how exactly did it survive harsh growing conditions remains a mystery. We thought this would be an exciting story to share, wrote it up as a paper and submitted it to a journal. We thought nobody would believe us, but a much bigger surprise awaited us. While we were working on this in India, halfway around the world, a team of scientists were also working on the same problem. They too had a data which was unsolved for 14 years. Our approaches were similar and we had arrived at the same conclusion. They too had solved this extraordinary problem about the same time. We both had submitted our work to the same journal just days apart. In fact, it was the editor of the journal who informed us about the work at Oxford. It still gives me goosebumps that such incredible coincidences can happen. It seems the same incidence has been reported from several other countries since our publication. Yet, how and why this exactly happens remains a mystery. You don't need to be an expert to pursue an extraordinary problem. I was just curious. Yeah, this is how I recorded by covering myself to reduce the echo because it's a small room, there's so much echo. It really works. It improves the sound quality very well. Of course, while recording, you should barely move. You should definitely not move because this will make noise and that will be recorded as well. So, if you record it properly under these circumstances, you can really get very good quality audio and hence post processing this audio file becomes very easy later. Thank you.